Hello you guys, and welcome back to another segment of the Girlfriends Around the World series. First of all, let me just pardon my voice. I've been sick, and so I am on the mends, doing so much better. And so I've been wanting to do this project all week, but I sounded terrible. And so I'm like, okay, we're gonna wait off a little bit, and then today I'm feeling sounding a lot better. I've been feeling better for a while now, but it's just all this congestion. So, okay, we are going to be heading to Leeds today. Leeds, England, and the very sweet, very fun Journal with Dolly, her name is Holly, is going to be our guest of honor to show us around Leeds and tell us about that part of England. And I just want to say that her interview was super awesome. She was very thorough and just very, very fun. I've been following Holly for a while now. I would say maybe 2 or 3 years, and I could ask her anything and not feel like an idiot, because although, the world does seem smaller and smaller, there's just a lot of different things and, different things that you don't know, and I'm immediately will be like, well, why do you do this? Or, well, what is that? Or what is that? Tell me about this. And I love it because she's very forthcoming. She's the sweetest thing. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into Leeds, and I have a lot of information. Now, she recently, if you follow her, then you're probably aware that she just recently moved to a new town. Let's see here. She told me, Morley. Sorry if I'm pronouncing Morley. It's a suburb outside of Leeds. Her and her boyfriend recently bought a flat there, and so and I love that because here in the States we're like apartments, and so there it's flats, and so I just just the wording, and I think what drew me to her was her accent, and she says she's a Yorkshire girl through and through, and so I just love that. And anyway, so let me go ahead and jump into, first let's go ahead and talk about Leeds, and then we'll talk about Holly. So Leeds, England, and basically I did a little bit of research on Leeds, but then I asked Holly in her interview what would be the top 3 places you would say to do if you were to go to Leeds. And it's just to kind of give you an idea, it's a college, there's several colleges there, universities, and it's very ornate. It's beautiful. I definitely have it on top of my list of places to visit in England, but I'll tell you, I think I've come up with my number 1 place. Well, it's hard to say because there's so many number 1 places, but I found a place that we're going to talk about here in just a minute that's part of my number 1. Made it up there on the list. So her top 3 things, she says there's amazing museums and National Trust houses, and the Royal Armouries showcases some of the most important and special arms and armor in the world. She said there's definitely, you can go shopping. There's the Trinity Shopping Center, which I've seen on her stories on Instagram. There's an abundance of high street shops there. She says there's the Everyman Cinema. It's definitely worth the trip. It watches new films and old cult classics in relaxing beanbags and sofas. And this place definitely sounds like something really fun. It's called the Corn Exchange, and it's quirky. And the name Corn, I just love it. I nicknamed my sister Corn, so it's kind of like nostalgic to me. But it's quirky and individual finds. It's a range of vintage clothing shops, funky gifts, music, and plant shops. So that sounds like something that I would thoroughly enjoy. And then, and I wanted to kind of step back really quickly here. Well, actually, no, we're not going to step back just yet. So those are the top 3 things. But if you look at Leeds, it's very beautiful. There's a lot to offer there to be able to look at and see. One of the things that I really loved about Leeds is she took a picture one time, and there was these owls, and I love owls, Rebecca Hoot, okay. And there was these owls, and she said, oh yeah, that's part of, they are all over Leeds. And so I did some research on that, and basically the owl is an icon of Leeds. You'll find owls scattered all over Leeds, and like there's on I saw it on there's on fencing and all kind of things with the owls, but it came from the coat of arms belonging to Sir John Savile. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm really apologize, but it was on his coat of arms, and so and I believe he was discover Leeds. I could be wrong, Holly, and I apologize because I don't. When I do these things, you guys, I think one of my worst fears is doing something or saying something that is not true or that's very could be offensive. I don't ever want to do that, so that's why I'm always like, oh, forgive me if I say something wrong. So anyway, but so yeah, which I think would be totally cool, because I think there is actually like a, I read somewhere that you could actually go on like a sightseeing tour of all the owls, which I think would be really cool. But there's these gold owls, and that's kind of like my fun little sketch there. But, you know, I wanted to put a bow tie on him, but I thought, you know, that probably isn't the right thing to do, so I didn't put the bow tie on him. But anyway, but there's a whole bunch of different little owls, so I think that's super cool to have that in your community, in your town. So, but one of the things talking about that I said I was going to go back to is the flag. So last time we went on, we had our girlfriends around the world. We were talking about England, and I had posted this because I'd got this really cool patch when I was out. Oop, that's Canada. When I was at out at a junking, they had a bunch of little patches there, and I thought, oh, that's so cool, I'm gonna talk about it. Well, that's not the flag of England. That's the flag, I believe, of the United Kingdom, and so that's good to know. And so that was Holly did mention that, and so I was glad that she pointed that out, that there are, you know, different flags within the United Kingdom, which I kind of knew that from, you know, being with Ireland and things like that, but I wasn't really sure as far as, because when you think of England, you automatically think of that flag there. So I did, on this page here, I did put a new, the English flag, and so we can definitely add that to our pages so that we can make sure that we know. It's kind of like here, I mean, a little bit, I mean, well, we do have one state, United States, but like we all have, the states all have their separate flags as well. So okay, so I'm gonna put the flag there. We're just gonna kind of, let me get my little things here to hold this down a little bit. There we go. So I can, looks kind of English too, doesn't it? Okay, so and then she talks about the festival, Leeds Festival, which I love watching that. It's an outdoor festival, and like I said, I've known Holly for about 3 years, and of course she posts things on her story about it, and it looks like a lot of fun. I think what really surprised me the most, which I guess because I'm just not an outdoors person, like here in Texas, you're gonna sweat. I mean, you're sweating. The only time you're not sweating is maybe December to February, maybe March. Other than that, you're sweating, because it's so hot here. But they camp out, which I find that so intriguing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys camp out in a tent. That just blows my mind. And so, I mean, I know. I've just had a lot of bad tent experiences in my life, and so, you know, I'm one of these, maybe you would consider high maintenance campers, but I don't like to be hot. I don't like to be rained on in a tent. I've had all those things. A big windstorm in a tent. I've had all the things. Like one night I thought, one of the last times I went camping, I thought, oh my gosh, there may be a cow coming by and blowing, because the wind was, I mean, the tent was hitting me in the face all night. It was, because it was just like a little dome, you know. Anyway, that's not here nor there. It's not about England. It's not about me. This is not about, but I guess I was just really surprised about the whole, like I said, the whole, oh, spit it out, tent. because I am so not a tent person. Okay, in Texas. I'm not boycotting tents altogether. I'm just not in Texas. But anyway, okay, so moving on. So I also was very surprised, and she was too. Like, she kind of mentioned that in her story that, you know, I said, oh my gosh, so tell me about the train, because we don't have, I mean, we have public transportation, but literally my son was talking about, he always thought it would be really super cool to go on a train. And I looked it up, like, from where he's at in college, you know, like, I thought, oh, you know what, that might be pretty cool. You could do a train instead of having to drive, because it's like 12 hours here. And, yeah, it would take him 2 days and 45, I don't know how long it was, but it's like 2 days pretty much to get here, on the train. And it's super expensive. I guess if you wanted somewhere where you could actually sleep. But yeah, and so I was like, yeah, it's quicker to just drive. You could be here in a day, you know. But but I was really intrigued, and so she goes, I can't believe something the size of the United States, you guys don't have like a commuter, because I would love to pop in a train and drive down to I mean, take you know, to wherever and be there, like, you know, in a day or something like that. But anyway, but she said they do have commuters, which we do have them in Austin to go in very small distances. But like for me to go get on a train, that's just not feasible. There is no such thing. But a commuter takes people to work, and then she also sent me a picture of it last week about how they do get really, really crowded. And I saw a couple there, and I wanted to post a picture here, but then it had people, and I didn't want to do that because I don't have their permission to post pictures. But they were sleeping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that probably would be me, you know. But anyway, they have a commuter train that takes people to the villages and towns along the way. And then they have a long haul, which is longer journeys. They also have a buffet car that serves snacks, chocolates, and drinks. You can sleep, but you don't, I mean, there are like little train, what would you call them? Like cabins. But that, you know, most people, they just sleep while they're on the train. That's what my goal is going to do, is to get that train, and I'm going to just go all over the place on the train in Europe. I just think that's so awesome that they have that possibility, you know, to be able to do that and not have to drive everywhere. Because that is my life, is driving. Okay, so I think that wraps up a little bit about Leeds. I mean, there is so much more I know. If we can fit this all on one page, that would be great. I don't think I'm going to put my owl information on there. I think I'm just going to put it just like this, and then seal it down. And then we're going to start another page that's introducing Holly. So what I did when I printed mine out, which you can find these printables online on my blog. I'll have a link below in the section here. But you can go to, I printed mine out on sticker paper. I've been doing that a lot lately with a lot of my printables that I have through different Patreons and stuff like that. But I've been finding out that it's a lot, sometimes when you're doing projects like this, it makes things so much more quicker, easier to add to your pages. So yeah, so I mean, and I guess going back, which that's part of our, as you guys know, I'm going to be going to New York in a couple weeks, and DC, and one of the things is we're going to ride a subway. I'm so excited. I know people are probably going, whoopee-doo, you get to ride, that live there, that ride a subway. I have never rode a subway, you guys, ever. So I am so excited. But so I guess you could say that in the bigger cities, you do have the commuter, what do you call it? Means, you know, like you can get on the subway and go that way. But here in Texas, we really don't. Like I said, we did get a a train that kind of goes from one end to the other. I don't know. I need to go on it just to try it out. But yeah, so that I don't know. I know some people talk about it, but it won't. I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's kind of strange how we don't have any kind of public transportation here. We do, as far as like buses and things like that. I take that back, because we do have a good bus system here in Austin. And actually where I live at, you could possibly get up really super early and take a kind of like a van into town. You pay a fee or whatever, and then they pick you up. But with kids, I mean, now since Brazos is driving, it's not that big of a deal. But I don't know. I just think it'd be so cool to get out, walk, you know, a couple of blocks or whatever, grab a train or a bus. It doesn't matter. But you still, there, kind of got the blue and red going here. But so yeah, so I'm really I'm thinking Leeds is definitely on the list to visit. Okay, so I got a little handy dandy trash can, you guys. Woo, looky there. Keeping my space clean. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to move over and we're going to talk about Miss Holly. My book is getting it's reached its halfway point here. So, okay, so I was talking with, one of the things that I love to do on these projects is, we got to cut out our little tab here too, is I like to find out about, like, okay, first of all, most of the ladies that I'm interviewing have something in common with either journaling, art, craftiness, creativity, something along those lines. So that's one of the first questions I ask, is kind of like, okay, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, and about, like, what is your favorite crafts, like journaling supplies, because I love the way, I love her style. It's very similar to how I journal too, and actually I would have to say that she's encouraged me to use, you know, different things such as magazines and just all the different kind of things to put into your journal. I kind of more or less painted a lot, and I still am trying to get back to doing that more. But yeah, I really enjoy watching her journaling processes. If you're interested, I'm going to leave her link down below where you can go look at all of her videos. So yeah, but her favorite supplies is, I'm cutting that out right now, and I have to laugh because she said, first of all, let's get how to spell favorite right, because you know, here in the States we spell it F-A-V-O-R-I-T-E, but in England it's with the U, and I don't know if that's a Europe thing. Maybe it is, like when they write in English, that's probably how they spell it. And so I had to laugh, and so of course, yes, Holly, I am fixing that right away. But it's washi, magazine cutting, watercolors, and again, colors is the O-U, which over here it's O-R, ephemera, and stickers. And so, yeah, and I just so fun. So, yeah, all the fun things that that I enjoy using too. And so the other thing, so I'll tell you a little bit about Holly. She grew up in Hessel, which is a suburb of Hull. Hull is the home of the Deep. It's a very large aquarium in a funky building, which sounds very fun. So I would definitely want to go check out that as well. And at 19, she moved to Lincoln in Lincolnshire. It's a small but pretty city full of history. The Magna Carta lives in the Lincoln Castle, and then there's the Lincoln Cathedral. And this is, you know, when we used to talk to, when I used to talk to other people before, really getting to know individuals from England, I was always intrigued, and I was scared I was going to get lost, and where do I go, what do I do, and I want to see this and that, and I don't know, it seems like it's talking with Holly and stuff, like this is definitely someplace I would want to go and visit, because I love cathedrals and just the historical part of it, and looking at pictures there, oh my gosh, it's breathtaking, you guys. I'm just like, and at first I was going to cut a picture out and put it there, and I was like, you know, I'm going to just kind of do a really rough sketch of the Lincoln Cathedral, and it just looks gorgeous. It looks amazing, and so definitely will have to be visiting that. And then also she said that it has one of the largest Christmas markets in Europe, and I think, to be honest, that's going to be one of my life goals, life wants, is to visit Europe at Christmas time, because you know, we're going to be doing Germany soon, and I know German markets are just gorgeous, and I definitely want to go to that as well, for sure. Okay, so then we got into talking about yummy food, and she was talking about food in Hull, which she said in Leeds you can get anywhere, let's see here, oh, a multicultural mix of people living there, so you can get pizza, you can get sushi, pizza, I mean, I already said pizza, can you tell I love pizza? Sushi, tacos, pastries, jerk chicken at McDonald's, you guys. Even being far away, you can get fish and chips. So I see that she posts a lot about fish and chips, and I know it's a good friend of mine that went. She went to London though, and that was one of her main things, was the fish and chips, and so that's definitely on my, I love that, and so that's definitely on my list to do. But she talks about this food in Hull, which I did it looks more like a tree with the sunshine, but you guys, this is actually this is actually supposed to be a sketch of this humble patty, chips and peas. And what it is, it's, she says, even only an hour away in Leeds, you cannot find this delicious, simple thing. And she said, this is actually in Hull. So we're going to have to go over to Hull and try this. So on our trip, we're going to do that. We're going to go to Hull. We're going to try the humble patty, because Leeds cannot find it there. So we're going to have to go over there. She said, go to any fish and chip shop in Hull and ask for the patty, chips, and peas. And this is what you'll get: a mashed potato mixed with herbs and patty that has been deep fried in batter. Yum! Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. With chunky chippy chips, isn't that cute? And a large portion of mushy peas, all smothered in salt and vinegar. Oh my gosh, that sounds so delicious, Holly. Yeah, definitely gonna have to do that. The other thing that I just remembered is she posted this thing called Chippy Tea, and I thought, oh my gosh, I thought that was just so cute. I said, I'm going to use that in my in the little journal series, and she said, definitely. Well, I looked it up, and it's actually used pretty common, right, Holly? And so, but what interests me the most is that when she grew up, because with me, like being here and hearing about the English tea, we're like, oh, okay, we're going to go have like a pretty, which I'm sure this is part of it too, because I know some friends of mine that went to London did this, but you know, you sit and you have tea, and you really have the dainty cup, and you have the 3-tier with your sandwiches and your scones and all the pretty things. Well, when the way that Holly explained it, she said, well, tea where I grew up is dinner. So you have breakfast, lunch, and tea. And so I don't know, Holly, you could kind of maybe explain that, but is that with the chippy tea, meaning like it's dinner, or is it just, it's basically deep fried fish with fried potatoes? So I don't know, I find that so intriguing. And so she said, yeah, I grew up with tea being dinner, and that's what they call it, is tea, we're going to eat for tea, you know. And so anyway, I just found that very interesting. And so where was I? Oh yeah, so we're talking food. So Oh, and she said another Hall classic, which is also like a fun fact, and I didn't have enough, I guess I could have drew it in here or something, but she says is they use a chip spice or seasoning salt, which I know we use seasoning salt here. Oh, she says seasoning salt if you're posh. Bright red, powdery and delicious. If you get any takeaway in Hull, expect your chips to be covered in a mild spice, salty, MSG-induced coating. Takeaways just aren't the same in Leeds without it. So that's interesting, but I'm trying to think, we have a French fry here that they'll do that, and they call it something, seasoned fries or something, which I guess would be the same thing as the seasoned salt, because I used to use it quite a bit when I cook, and then I'm not a good baker, you guys, so, I mean cooker, not cooker, I'm not a good cooker. I'm not a chef, I'm not a good, I can't cook, that's the bottom line here, but anyway, but I used to use seasoned salt quite a bit, so I'm assuming it's probably the same thing, but you know, hey, we're gonna test it out, are we not, while we're here, so yeah. So we have lots of things we're going to be doing. We're going to be going to Hull, we're going to be having our humble patty with chips, and we're going to be in England, so we're going to be doing lots of fish and chips, if you ask me. I think I would do that probably at every meal, because that is how I roll, is once I find one thing I like. And it's interesting because I know that it's so like, oh, you know exactly what you're going to do. Well, I'm always afraid, what if I order something and I don't like it? Because I'm a pretty finicky eater, and what if I get something and I don't like it, and I'm like starving and I paid all this money for this food, and then I can't even, I'm not even going to eat it, you know? So that is my reasoning behind not being adventurous in the food department, I guess. So yeah, so let's see if there's anything else that I can tell you about Miss Holly. So like I said, she did such a thorough job of just really, oh, okay, so one of the things that I did ask her about was you know, like her favorite places she's visited, and her and her boyfriend Will, I feel like I know him even though I don't know him. They did where, and this is kind of what I wanted to do, is kind of like, I know this sounds really fun, right, is take a gap year when I retire from my job, is take a gap year and tour not only the States, which I'm going to try to be fitting the States in even when I'm not, we might have to run off the page with this a little bit. Is basically and just tour, right? But I want to do like the youngsters. I want to do like the you know, run there, get ready before they go into the university, they take a gap year. Well, I'm going to take a gap year of life, right? Where I just go off and I just have fun, and I go tour and I do all the things and do it on a budget, you know, so I can afford, this is kind of, let's see here. I need to put this in here, I feel like, because, sorry, I got off subject here, but because I want to put in the largest Christmas, but it says, but if I just kind of stick it here, I can't put in my chippy tea. I'll figure it out. Okay, and so, but this is the rest of her story, and I gotta fit this in there too. Yeah, the B6 is not big enough for my, all the things I want to include. But yeah, so taking a gap year, right? So that would mean you know, I was reading about it, like taking a gap year for older people. I'm not going to say how old. But you know, some of the places may not want older people, but I asked Holly, because I was like, I'm curious, how did that go? What did y'all do? And so she said that that her and Will did stay in a place that you kind of share, like they had bunk beds and you shared the room, but she said she kind of got really creeped out about this person in there, and so the next time they just had their room to themselves, but that you might share bathrooms and things like that, which I think would be fine. I don't think I would want to sleep in a room with somebody else just because I watch way too many true crime to like, I'll be sleeping with one eye open, you know, and stuff like that. But when you stay in these hostels, it's a lot less expensive. So I don't know. I find it very intriguing, and I think that you could do things on where you want to. You could really do things on a budget by, you know, kind of researching different things like this, you know, instead of staying in a really like expensive hotel or move to Morley. I think I'm just going to put move to Morley. And so anyway, but I was talking to Holly about it, and so I asked her where her favorite places were, and she said Amsterdam and Budapest are my two favorite European cities. I also love Portugal and laying on the amazing beaches in the Algarve there. When I lived in Bangladesh, that was a very special experience. I would say that was the most life-changing and unforgettable experience I've had, but I'm sure it was not, but it's not my favorite place, if that makes sense. And she put that in there, if that makes sense. I would love to own a flat in Budapest, as it is so inexpensive and absolutely gorgeous. So, so that was one of the places. Oh, they went interrailing across Europe. That's what it is. Oh, I can just piece this thing together. So, in a couple years, oh, they went interrailing across Europe. This is where you travel across Europe by train. Sounds amazing. We went from UK to Berlin in Germany to Prague in the Czech Republic to Vienna in Austria to Budapest in Hungary, and all the way back again. We didn't use any sleepers on the journey as we stayed in hostels, but we could have done this if we wanted to. It was a fab experience, and I'd love to do it again. That's what I think would be a total fabulous experience. So yeah, that's why I was just curious, and I kind of Googled some things. There's so much information out there, but about staying, and they were saying that some people didn't really want to have like older people stay, I guess because depending on the environment, but I think you could probably like research and find out which would be the most user friendly for people, you know, that are not right out of in my case high school, but I think it's called right before they go to uni. I'm not sure what it's secondary, I think. So okay. There. I just pieced all that together. Okay. Fit it all in because you gotta know the story. So I'm gonna do this. I don't think I'm gonna include this in there because it doesn't really talk about, I mean, unless I put this right here. That might make sense. Cover up my sunshine. Maybe it'll look more like French fries. Okay. I cut the paper. It's a little tricky at times. Alright, so then that would be and. Maybe then it'll flow better. Because I didn't want it to be kind of weird. Let's see. Okay, and then what we'll do is, oh, and then the other thing I ask about is like holidays, like what kind of holidays do you guys, because I know like she was laughing here. She says, one of my favorite things about this community is you learn so much about the wider world. I totally 100% agree. And it's basically a like the 4th of July, which we have, and she says, why would we celebrate escaping our British grasp? You know, because that's our independence from Britain is Independence Day. But Anyway, so then she talked about on November 5th, they have a bonfire night, otherwise known as Guy Fawkes Night. It has been celebrated since 1605, and is a celebration that involves fireworks and bonfires across the country. It began because Guy Fawkes was part of the gunpowder plot where a gang decided to try and blow up the Houses of Parliament. It was originally created as a thanks for the plan failing. However, in more recent years, people hail Guy Fawkes as a hero. On Bonfire Night, people often make scarecrows that look like Guy Fawkes and put them on the fire. People do fireworks and fires in their own gardens or go to organized displays. When I was little, we would go to her Nana's and Granddad's house. We would build a scarecrow together, and my mom would cook a big chili. We would cook jacket potatoes in the bonfire and eat toffees and parkin cake afterwards. A very happy memory of Bonfire Night. Aww. She said now lots of people nowadays would like private parties to be banned, though, as fireworks are a burden to animals, veterans, and the elderly. Yeah, we have that here too with the fireworks. It's very they always have lots of animals like run and what do you call it? Show up at shelters and stuff because they end up running from home, which is so sad. But one of the things that I know Holly's so interesting to me, you guys. Like I said, she was a great interview. She was very very informative about things, and like I said, anything I could ask. It was great. But one of the things that I laughed about is she had this like Mondo glue stick, and I'm like, I said, oh, and one of my questions was, oh, that's why I have the little glue stick here too. It says, oh, and please tell me about your mega glue stick. Where would you get one? I so need one of those in my life. And she says, haha, this made me laugh. I get mine at a bargain shop called B&M. You can also get them from the Works, but I find that the glue isn't that good a quality. I bet you Googled it and looked on Amazon, you would find one too. You know, that's some of the issues with the glue and the, what is it? I found like with the tape runners, I end up like, I had put together a, which I'm going to come and show it on one day, like maybe on one of my creative hoots or something like that. We're going to add some sparkle to Miss Holly here. I know I put together this cookbook. It was kind of like a scrapbook cookbook. It had pictures of like different of my favorite recipes and like things like that. And I might have mentioned it here. I don't know. I just kind of discovered over Christmas that this was doing this, but it basically is coming undone. All the glue, all the tape runners is like coming undone, and which is a really disappointment because I mean that's your scrapbooks, you know, and so I don't know. I'm just kind of bummed that that's happening. So all right. But more dots. Dots are my favorite. I'll put some little... These markers have seen their better days, but I love them. Even though they're great for when I work on canvases too. So that's why. Alright, you guys. Well, this was fun. I enjoyed doing these so much. We got to add our little... We've got to put our... Got to get our passport out real quick and put in England, right? Actually, you know what? We didn't do England back here, so I'm going to pop this in right here. I think that's what I wanted to do anyway. Put that, and then I need to come in with like a piece of paper. See if I can find one. Or another little, Now we all know we have a piece of paper here. But after this, we're going to be spending some time in Germany. I actually have 3 ladies I have interviewed. One is, she's kind of just staying in Germany. I'm not sure how long. And then we have Caroline, which we're going to be visiting next, and Pocket Journal Pam, and Abby Sai. So we've got some lineups for the next month. I hope to squeeze everybody in June. If not, we're going to follow up in July. That's okay. We are in no rush. Because I know in June I'll be gone for a week, you guys. I don't know if y'all saw it, if y'all follow me on Instagram, but sometimes even if you do your stories, they just... But I bought this tape and I replaced it in my cute little flamingo. It's actually, oh, where it won't turn colors. I can't think of the name. But anyway, I found it online, and because I do like using Scotch tape, I just don't like it if it changes colors. Even though I guess it really doesn't matter. It kind of adds a little something, I guess, if it becomes like changed colors. But it's, anyway, so our little book is getting filled up. So we're going to do Germany next, which may end up filling this whole book up, to be honest with you. And then we'll have to move into another one. So, alright, you guys, this was fun. Again, Holly, thank you so much for telling us all about Leeds. It was very, very, very interesting, and I can't wait to actually go and visit you guys soon there. So, alright, y'all have a... Oh! I was going to say, y'all have a great rest of the day. We've got to add our England in here. Cannot forget that. So, this is from last time when we did our Bon Voyage. So it's a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to put it in there, but you can definitely use the one that's on this month's too, for this set. See if I can find some glue. I just ordered. Y'all can hear my sweet poke poo. I just ordered a ton of glue too, and wouldn't you know it, I can't find any glue. Oh my heavens. Okay. We will find it. Give me just a second. Aha. I'm going to use this. Okay. I did get another tape runner refill for my Tombow, finally. So, like I said, I'm skeptical about using this. I'm sure Tombow's okay, but I don't know what brand I was using before. So, we got our England in there. I may have to dress it up a little bit, but if not, I'm perfectly fine with that. So, alright, you guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.